Hi, ladies. Welcome to being on the Spartan Preschool Podcast. My name is Kristen Vona. I'm the director of preschool, and I'm here with two of our preschool instructional coaches, Taylor Gilman.
Hi, my name is Taylor Gilman. I'm the preschool intervention and referral specialist. I've been in education for 5 years and 2 years as an instructional coach. And a fun fact about me is that I run a competitive cheerleading organization.
Hi.
And Kathy Longano.
Hi, I'm Kathy Longano. I'm one of the preschool instructional coaches and a member of the PERT team at the Ocean Township School District. This is my 15th year in education and my 5th year with the district. Fun fact about me is I'm an author of a children's book.
Hello.
Okay, so today we're going to take a little deep dive into a different aspect of coaching that both of you do with your teachers. I want to kind of get down to the nitty-gritty and talk about what the PERT team is. So I know the PERT team is an acronym. Can someone tell me what it means?
The PERT team stands for the Preschool Intervention and Referral Team.
Okay, so can you, Kathy, elaborate to the parents what the PERT team is?
It's basically, the other word would be specialists, and they're just, the coaches are some of the specialists that work with it, but basically a resource, I guess you could say, for teachers to reach out to when they feel that there's an issue or a potential issue with one of their students, whether it be behavioral, academic, social, emotional. So they reach out to us for guidance and for assistance in helping that student and supporting them in any way that we can.
So it sounds like we have a pretty good process, but can you explain a little more, one of you, about who would be on the PERT team?
So the PERT team consists of the preschool intervention and referral specialist, the student's teacher. It will involve Kristen Vona, our director of preschool. It can involve the principals of the building. It can involve child study team. It's about just building a resource of people who can really help us in creating strategies for this student and for the teacher.
And parents seem to be a big part of the PERT team as well. Can you tell me a little bit about that, Kathy?
Absolutely, that they play an intricate role in putting together the plan because they know their child, so we value their input, and we take that into consideration when we are coming up with a plan, and it's something that they essentially have to carry on at home as well to help reinforce it and help everybody be consistent and be on the same page with the teacher. So it helps our plan be even more effective.
So at times, do families come into the school to meet with this team?
Absolutely, yes. Whether, at their convenience or maybe even like some kind of conference, a virtual conference or a meeting at school, whatever is easiest for them. But they definitely play a role.
So let's make a little scenario. What would a parent expect if, say, they were called to have a PERT team meeting with their teacher and the PERT team intervention specialist? What might they see? What might happen? How might it run?
So we would ask them to either come in for a conference, or if it's easier for them to do a Zoom or a Google conference, we could do that as well. And a lot of the times it comes with what's called an action plan, which I know can sound very intimidating, but it really is just a bank of strategies that we are creating and implementing for the student. It can be implemented by the teacher, by the parents as well, but we'll have them in for a conference to kind of review, why we're coming together and kind of what we are seeing that the student needs supports with. And then we will review those supports and those strategies and how they can implement it at home, as well as how the teacher is going to implement it in the classroom, and kind of next steps and the progress that we hope to see with them.
And I know a lot of times when you talk about strategies in the classroom can look a whole bunch of different ways. It can look from behavior strategies to maybe alternate seating in the classroom if a child needs to calm their body and sit on something that's a little different, or maybe some sensory toys. Is there anything else you could think about that PERT plans might have in them?
Well, a lot of it is based on the pyramid model, which is what it plays a strong role in the PERT team. So there's a lot of social emotional components with it. That it plays a heavy role, especially there's such a need for social emotional learning today, especially at the preschool level. So we try to, implement that as much as we can in the action plans, and again, for the families to take home to use those same strategies. So we, try not to make it so outlandish where it's going to be something easy for them to do at home.
Sometimes it can involve activities that they're doing in the classroom, different lessons, stories that, that they can read to help them, especially in terms of social emotional
Right.
and some of those social skills and stuff like that.
Yeah, so you come up with a bank of suggestions for the teacher to help this student integrate in the classroom better, I would say. And you monitor it, you collect data on it. And how long do you usually follow through with this type of plan before you're speaking to the parent again?
It's usually about 6 weeks to give it a fair chance to see if it's effective or not. And then after the 6 weeks, you revisit with the teacher and
Yeah.
see how, get a current report on it, see how things are going. And then if you need to modify it, you do so. If you need to just continue with, if it is working, you just kind of, continue with what is already in place.
So parents coming in, first meeting, could be presented with a plan. They can give input themselves in the plan, correct? Because it's a team approach. And then we can move forward with something like this for maybe 6 weeks before we check in with them again to let them know, do we need to change anything, or something's working or something's not, and just kind of update them on where their students are in this process.
Right, and depending on how much progress is made, sometimes if it's like mainly an academic concern, sometimes you don't need the plan anymore. It's, you can just kind of work on from where you're at.
So
It
that's
all
a good
depends.
point. So if a child goes to something like a PERT team and we need strategies for them, they don't have to keep that PERT plan forever.
No, definitely not.
The goal is to hopefully, lessen it, and hopefully the strategies that are being implemented can be really effective, and we can hopefully take away that plan at some point. And if not, we just go ahead and we intensify the strategies a little bit and see what works to really help that student get to where we want them to be.
Right, it's important to obviously continue to monitor them if it gets to that point, because you don't want to just kind of leave, just let the kid, drop
let
the
it go.
kid kind of thing.
So one of the things I always think is these are 3 and 4-year-olds in our district, first time learning, first time in school. They, are learning so much at this time. They grow so quickly. We see that. Sometimes these plans are put into place and just help those, skills grow and foster on their own and quicker. Do you have any suggestions or anything you could tell parents about the PERT team if they ever got called to it, so they wouldn't feel nervous or anything like that coming into a meeting?
Well, basically, just to keep in mind that it's something to help their child. It's not any, like a gotcha moment. It's not anything to, guilt them into anything that they did something wrong or anything, along those lines. It's just, we're here to help. We're on your team. We want to do what we can to support your child, to get them to a place that, is satisfying for everybody. So were you gonna, I'm sorry, cut you off.
No, I was going to say, it's, I always say it's not as intimidating as it sounds. It's really just a place for us to provide supports and make sure that, most of them are in our program for 2 years. We want it to be really meaningful 2 years and, make sure that they are as ready for kindergarten as possible. So it really all is just about supporting that student, supporting the family and the teacher.
Well, thank you, and thank you for introducing what the PERT process is, because, we do see a lot of students that go through it, and we see great results, and it's nothing that parents have to be scared about or intimidated by if they get the call, but it's something to know about, and thank you for coming on today just to kind of give us that introduction on what it is, so if a parent ever gets to that spot, they know that this is how it works moving forward. And, parents can always call too, and we can speak, tell them what's going on, just in general. So we're all on that same,
On the same page.
same page.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, ladies, for being on the first podcast.
Thanks for having us.